the balance that they owe us gets egregious. It gets ridiculous. It's the GDP of a small country is what they owe us.
No kidding.
And they're on top of the world excited about us because we were ranked number 57 of 552,000 food items.
On Amazon.
On Amazon, number 57.
And this happens overnight.
This happens, overnight, and for like a week, a month afterward, we're still ranked crazy. And the time goes on that we've got this massive bill that just keeps growing.
Because they're collecting the money.
They're collecting the money.
They don't have to give it to you. They're holding it for 60 days.
We're playing the bank here. Yeah,
Right.
it's rough.
So that amount's just piling up. You're out of pocket. All the stuff to get that product out.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Cards are maxed. Lines of credits are maxed. I mean, it is like, do we pay the mortgage this month or we just...
Welcome to Bootstraps and Battle Scars, the podcast. This is the podcast by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. The whole idea is I sit down with fellow entrepreneurs and we talk about their story. We hear about the bootstrapping, we hear about the battle scars, we hear about the lessons learned, and we have a good time. So today, my guest is Garrett Blood, which is a super cool name.
Thanks.
I mean, who has a name like Garrett Blood?
Villains,
It's
typically.
like Bond, James Bond. Yeah. But Garrett, I even said your name wrong.
You said it right.
And I'll say we'll edit it, but we won't.
Okay.
Yeah. Because my editor just doesn't get paid enough to do editing. But Garrett, you and I met a month or two ago, and we went to breakfast and had a great time. You told me your story, and I thought, man, it's awesome. And it was really good to get to know you, and I think your story is perfect for what I'm trying to do here.
Great. I love it.
Okay, Garrett Blood.
Yeah.
Your company now is called KJ.
KJ.
K-A-J-A-E, which is your kids' initials.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I have an entity called Camco.
Oh, that's right.
We talked about that. Yeah. So, but mine was like, I had to combine. I only have 3 kids at the time, so I had to combine it. So it was Casey, Amy, Cody.
Oh, that's right.
Camco.
I love it.
You like that?
Right?
Okay.
No one has it, right?
It's just mine.
It was
KJ.
just yours. Done.
Right.
Handled.
Done.
Best $12 ever spent for
to register
a domain.
That. Yes. Yeah. I mean, never mind the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to pay for those too.
Yeah.
Okay. So Garrett, first things first, I just want to hear your story. Like, where did you grow up? Your first. Yeah, let's just talk about that for a second. Where did you grow up? Tell me a little bit about your life growing up. How many kids in your family? Tell me some funny stories about, the time you got caught picking your nose on camera or something.
Perfect.
Let's just go with that. Let's start with that.
Love it. Peeing on an electric fence or something.
Yes, that's a good story.
Never
in
done
California,
that, but
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up in Orange County, in Fullerton specifically,
California,
right next door
yeah.
to Disneyland. We used to always joke
Cal
that-
State Fullerton Anteaters.
That's it. Cal State Fullerton. I had an uncle that went there.
Okay.
And he went to school with Kevin Costner, actually. So
Really?
they were in the same class together. They're friends.
Oh, nice.
So Fullerton, it was great because at 9 o'clock I always knew when it was time to go to bed because I'd hear the Disneyland fireworks going off.
Oh, you were that close to Disneyland?
Well, I mean, you could always hear them.
Yeah.
And we were, it was 15 minutes by car to drive.
Yeah, and every
to
night,
Anaheim.
fireworks.
Every night.
That's cool.
So I could see them from the very top of our house. It was pretty cool. But grew up in Fullerton in the 80s. Best time. I think I really like the show that just wrapped up, Stranger Things.
Okay.
Because it totally reminded me of my childhood. Identical to it, except for they're in Indiana and I was in
Stranger Things.
Fullerton. Did you watch it yet? It's great. 80s nostalgia, fun, little freaky, won a bunch of awards, most popular show on Netflix.
Is that the one? That's not the Supernatural. That's Supernatural.
Yeah, yes.
Is it? There's some things going on. Okay.
Yeah, it's great. It's
okay,
fun.
Stranger
It's a fun
Things.
show. But anyway, growing up there, big into Nintendo and computers and all that fun stuff. Built my first computer when I was 12.
You did?
It was kind of a side hustle. I got into computers and started building them. I'd buy the parts and take them apart and rebuild them and then sell them to some.
So I'm over here
some
talking
dude.
about taking apart my alarm clock, and you're like, "Yeah, that's cute." I built my first computer when I was 12. Okay, gotcha.
I didn't. There's no judgment here. Yeah. And
Okay.
what
Alarm
kind
clock,
of kind of alarm clock was it? Was it
pretty
analog?
awesome.
Was it digital?
Yeah, it had the little dial and the little thing move back and forth. Super
good.
complicated.
So
yeah.
good. I could just see it right now. But I had there was 4 of us total siblings. So I was the oldest, and then I had a sister, another sister, and a brother. And we we grew up pretty nice in the early 80s there. My dad had some car dealerships.
Okay.
He sold exotic used cars is what he had. So he always had Ferraris or Lambos or kit cars or just classics. And he'd drive home in a different car every day.
Cool.
And so it's like, what car's Dad coming home today? Oh, it's Magnum PI. It's a 328.
Yeah,
you know, and
Ferrari.
and he'd come in and my dad about 6'2", 195 pounds, bench pressed 420 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
So he was ripped. He looked
Yeah.
he literally looked like, what's his name? Magnum PI guy.
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck. Thank you. He had the mustache, everything.
Really?
He looked
Like the big, thick, bushy
Yep.
porn stash. That's what we call him now.
he looked exactly like he looked exactly like Tom Selleck,
Yeah,
like
okay.
dead on, and the Ferrari to boot and everything like that. And so we grew up with car lots and
So
businesses.
financially, he's
and
doing pretty good.
Financially, he was doing good. He had hotels. He had a couple hundred condos. He had hotels in other countries.
Yeah.
Planes, jets,
Wow.
helicopters, jet setter, baller.
Okay.
And so, we didn't really think anything of it. We thought everybody went to school in a limo from
Well,
time
why
to
not?
time,
Yeah.
right? Why not?
Yeah.
And so we didn't know how good we had it. But little by little, my dad started falling into the wrong crowds, vices, different things like that started to happen. There's some mental health stuff that I think was part of it. And little by little, this empire that he had built started to weaken and started to crack and break down. And so then he started losing a lot of his businesses to the point where he lost everything at a point. And my parents ended up divorcing, and when I was right around 12. And so, we went from way up here to welfare poor at record speed.
Wow.
And if it wasn't for grandparents, we would have lived in our cars, basically, in the car, basically.
But not the limo.
Not the limo. That was sold.
Limo's
That was
gone.
gone. That was repoed.
Well,
Or who knows what
limo,
it was,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Plenty of space. But during those turmoils, those difficult years, I got into window cleaning. And
Okay.
I had an uncle that owned a window cleaning business, and I would go out there with him. I'm like, hey,
That
you
takes
know what?
way more brain than rebuilding computers, cleaning windows. So I can see that transition.
It was kind of brainless. It was kind of fun, right? You're doing it, and I was making decent money as a kid, and I wanted to just start saving money. I was planning on serving a mission for my church, and so I wanted to save money, and I didn't want to have to mow lawns and whatever else we hear
Yeah.
people doing, lemonade stands, and so I went out and learned how to clean windows.
Nice.
And then I started knocking on doors and getting businesses to say, yeah, we'll have you come out every week to wash our windows. And so by the time I was about 12, I had 60 customers.
Really?
And so I'd be walking with a bucket and a pole,
And just go
a
clean
mile
windows.
to go hit those windows because I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
I was 12. And I was making about $20 an hour in 1991, basically.
Yeah.
And so, it was great money back then. And still, and and building computers on the side, and had business. I had business cards that I would hand out, and so it was fun.
That's cool.
So I got my start
Pretty young.
getting told no by people,
Yeah.
and having to get
That's a
up in
good
their
lesson to
face.
learn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Not just getting the no, but getting them to yes.
And then you had a bucket of mud. If they said no, you just
Throw it on
their
the
window.
Oh, dude, it worked like a jet every
Right,
time.
and then they would
It
be
was
like,
terrific.
"Oh, maybe." Yeah. Okay, so did your dad ever recover?
Yes and no. So parents divorced, he lost everything, and then he started kind of climbing back up again. He became one of the top people over at a company called Melaleuca in Idaho.
Oh, okay.
He was top 0.1% at the company. Very good friends with the billionaire Frank
As a
Vandersloot.
distributor?
As a distributor. And he pretty much was cashing ridiculous checks for years, to the point where eventually what ended up happening is him and Frank got in a head-to-head.
Frank
Vandersloot.
Vandersloot, which is
Yeah.
a big multi-level marketing company out of Idaho.
Yeah.
And during the 90s, this is multi-level marketing is the deal.
Big
Yeah.
time. And so, he was the top producer for that company, and
Wow.
and then it got taken away from him, and so he lost it. Him and Frank got into it and lost it, and overnight he went from top of the world again to
Really?
nothing. And so then he had to
Wow.
pick himself up, and he did it again for another company based out of San Diego, and something similar happened there. And so you're like, okay, what's going on here? It's
Yeah.
just you're doing this, and it was a mental health thing for sure. And so he's
So,
not
like-
diagnosed, but we're pretty sure we know what's up.
So he would have success, but then when he got to that point, somehow sabotage it. Something would happen. We're not sure what, but something would happen.
Yeah, I mean, we think he has bipolar type 1, and so
Okay.
he'd have these manic components that would happen, and he'd have a Britney Spears moment where she'd just shave her head, and he'd kind of do the same thing that would get him in trouble with like the law or somebody else. And that's what would kind of do it to him. And then he'd normalize, and he'd be good for 6 months to a
And
year.
very
and he'd
productive, make it
and
happen.
he'd set it on fire, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden he'd sabotage it again.
Wow. Is your dad still alive?
He's still alive. We don't know where he's at. He's in. We know we've gotten sightings of him from other people and family.
No kidding.
But he's like homeless in Orange County somewhere.
No kidding.
We can't find him. We've looked for 2 years now. But we know
Wow.
he's alive because we've heard sightings. So
Wow.
they're like, "Oh, we saw him." I'm like, "What? Where? When?
Yeah.
How? Why?" You know. And but
Huh.
yeah, it's super sad, and it's mental health and it's meth. He's addicted
The
to
drugs,
meth.
huh?
Yeah, he's been addicted for about 15 years now. So it's just it's sad.
You know, unrelated story, but kind of related. My brother-in-law is a deputy sheriff in Santa Barbara County. And, you know, Santa Barbara has a pretty good homeless population. I mean,
Yeah.
who wouldn't want to live in Santa Barbara?
Santa Barbara.
Right. And we were talking about his family one time, and he was talking about his brother. And I said, what's your brother doing? He said, oh, he's a bum. And I'm like, well, right, my brother's kind of a bum too, but like, what's your brother do? He's like, no, he is a homeless guy, lives on the streets of Santa Barbara, and I see him all the time because I'm a deputy sheriff, and there he is, and there I am. I'm like, we wave and go on, but there's just nothing we could do. Like, he just is a bum and lives on the street. I mean, I find that fascinating, right?
It's crazy, right?
I mean, let's not talk about my brother. He might watch this. I doubt it. Okay. Anyways, so your dad had great success. So you got to see that part.
Oh, yeah.
Of being around somebody who could really make things happen.
Oh, I remember going to the auction with him to buy cars, and he'd be outbidding folks to make because he wanted a car, or he already had it sold, and he needed to buy it. You know,
Yeah.
he used to always say that the money's in the buy, never in the sell. And so we'd go to the auction for a Saturday afternoon, and he'd pick up 27 cars, and he'd pay cash for them.
Yeah.
No financing, no banks, nothing. And the hard part was, he goes, 27 cars. He goes, purchasing them's the easy part for me. He goes, driving them back is the hard part.
Yeah. No kidding, huh?
And so that's what they'd run into all the time
Yeah.
is how do I get all these cars shuttled back and forth?
And maybe he was only going to buy 10 cars, but he saw others that he had to have. And
That was a
bam.
problem a
Yeah.
lot. Okay, you buy those 3, we'll throw that one in for 50%
Sure,
off. You know,
sure.
so he's like, okay, great, we got another Ferrari coming over here.
Okay.
And but he had the most unbelievable, ridiculous stories, and someone stealing a car off the lot, and he had to jump on the top of the car and was driving down the street like a scene from a movie, holding on to this car. The guy's trying to steal it, and gets on the freeway with him on the top
No
of the
kidding.
car. Yeah, trying to shake him loose and all that stuff like that. And but stories like that, people vandalizing stuff,
Yeah.
catching people in the act of stealing a car and taking the law into his own hands like Batman. Pretty cool stuff.
Like they used to be able to
Oh,
do. Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
So
That's
fun.
cool. Okay. So California, growing up, living that entrepreneurial ups and downs as a kid,
Yeah.
but also deciding you're just going to go out and make it happen. So you're out there making money, paying your bills, buying your own stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what happens?
So yeah, I mean, I've funded building my window cleaning business, GB Enterprises, by the way. That was the name of it.
GB.
Garrett Blood
You're an initial guy,
Enterprises.
aren't you? Yeah.
That's it.
GB.
And it's super original, right?
Yeah.
And started that up and just learned the successes and travails of owning your own business.
Yeah.
And at the same time, being the oldest of 4 and my mom not working, I ended up paying all the bills. And so parents divorced, and I was in charge of the electric bill and the mortgage and food and everything. And here I am at that point. I was probably 13 or 14.
Yeah. That's a lot of pressure.
And so that's kind of what I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, as time went on, it was just like, okay, well, everything else around me, this is easy stuff. You
Yeah.
know, it's like this doesn't, So eventually one day when I went and served a mission in Mexico, it was a piece of cake, you know, in terms of, okay, this is hard, but this isn't hard, you know?
Yeah. Compared to what you've been doing.
Yeah, you know,
this is a break.
Yeah, where a lot of these kids are like, oh, I was promised a car and all these things if I would go on a mission, and they've had these super soft lives, and I was just like, wow, what would that have been like, you know?
Yeah.
But no, it was good because I'm a big believer that you have to do hard things.
Yeah.
And that's something that we try to instill in our kids is they have to do hard things on a regular basis.
Easier
And-
said than done.
Yeah, it's finding the most hard things, especially living in a soft society that we've got here in the U.S., you know? So,
Like, get up and go to school. That's hard.
yeah.
Yeah. Get up and do online schooling. Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go serve a mission for your church in Mexico.
Yep.
And you did 2 years.
Yep.
I'm sure you did great. Learned a lot of lessons. Had a great experience, and then came home. And let's talk about your first you built a business that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about that.
So, well, window cleaning business, I sold it,
Okay.
went on my mission, got home. I had actually saved a bunch of money for when I got home because I didn't want to be destitute and poor when
So
I got
not
home.
only did you pay for your mission,
Yeah.
because that's what you do.
Yep.
But you also had money when you got home
Yep.
waiting for you. That's
Set
pretty
it in a
impressive,
bank
yeah.
account, and I told my mom, okay, write a check for this amount every single month for my mission.
Give it
Give it to the bishop.
Yeah.
You're good to go, whatever. And I said, okay, when everything's said and done, I should have X number of thousands of dollars in there so I can buy a car, I can go to college, all these things like
Get
that.
started, yeah.
Well, my mom and my stepdad were notorious for being bad with money.
Ah.
So what do? They blow through all my money while I'm gone for 2 years. And they tell me basically the second day I get back when I go, okay, all right, time for me to do this, this, and this is my goals. This is the
Yeah.
thing I was
Yeah.
focused on, gone.
Yeah, that's tough.
And I was like, okay, it continues.
Yeah.
And so time goes on, working a couple jobs, going to school at night, taking a real estate class on the side, and dating a girl that becomes my wife. And we've been married now, it'll be 25 years this year. And
Nice. Are her initials in the KJ? No.
she, you know, we could say yes, but her name's Jackie. And there is a J in KJ, so but it's
not for Jackie.
It's for Jack.
Jack.
So
Jackie.
our
You have a
5 kids.
Jack?
Yeah.
And a Jackie?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Little Jack Jr.
Little Jack, and now he's big.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we saving money, bought a house. My goal was to buy a house within a year of getting home from my mission, and then saving and trying to figure out what I wanted.
Still
to
living
do.
in Southern California.
Still in Southern California, and I remember one day I was coming back from the gym. And every time I was done at the gym, I craved ice cream.
Yeah.
Every time.
Okay.
And I go, man, I'm going to negate everything I just did in the gym if
Yeah.
I have that pint of ice cream. Why can't this stuff be healthy?
Yeah.
And then it was like the aha light bulb moment of, well, why isn't there a protein-based ice cream? You know, protein shake in an ice cream form. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Makes sense.
It wasn't anything. So we ended up buying a soft serve machine, a buddy and I, and we started experimenting. And we dumped 1,000 different variations into this thing. And we discovered there's 1,000 ways not to make ice cream.
Right.
Like nasty concoctions. You're like, okay.
You're grabbing protein powder from this guy.
Just vomit in
whatever.
a bag. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just gross
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But we finally stumbled upon a way to make it taste good. And we said, okay, this might work.
Yeah.
And so we made it fat-free, gluten-free, lactose-free, diabetic-friendly, 150 calories for the entire pint, all natural, clean ingredients, nothing artificial in it. Tasted great. And it was 20 grams of whey protein concentrate, 8 grams of fiber. And like I said,
In a container?
in a pint.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could
And
eat the whole
tasted
pint.
good?
And it tasted good. The
Wow.
goal was that you could eat the whole thing at 10 o'clock at night
And not feel guilty.
and look better in the morning. and so we got it into one grocery store. Then
What was it called?
It was called Arctic Zero.
Okay.
And so it was. So we got it in one grocery store, then 100, then 1,000, then 10,000 grocery stores, then 18,000 grocery stores. So it was Haagen-Dazs is the number one ice cream in America in
Yeah.
a pint. Ben & Jerry's was number 2, and we were number 3.
You got to number 3?
Number 3. So
Like,
Nestle.
like in just ice cream?
Yeah.
Or like ice cream in the pint? Or
Yep.
just,
third best-selling pint in America.
no kidding?
Yeah, and it was in Canada.
Behind
Haagen-Dazs, Ben & Jerry's,
and
us.
you guys.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
And so we were private. We're these little guys that took up shelf space and pissed off all the multi-billion-dollar corporations at the time. And
Well, how did you? Okay, so you and your buddy on the kitchen counter invented this formula that worked.
Yeah.
But then how do you get in? I mean, getting into one is like, okay, we stayed up all night, all weekend, we made a bunch of ice cream.
Yeah.
But then we start getting into hundreds and thousands, and like, how do you scale that? How do you even know to scale that?
So it was.
We're not washing windows.
Yeah. So we actually started making it in our little warehouse that we had. It had inventory of cups. I'll never forget buying 250,000 pints to get a good deal on it. And looking at boxes and boxes and boxes from a container that we had stacked into the warehouse, and looking at it going, we've got to fill every single one of those, because that right there represents, it was like 25 grand worth or something. It was like $22,000 worth of inventory.
But the work was just starting.
And so we're like, okay, we got to now sell the first pint, right? And so we put the calorie count right on the front of the package. We were the first to ever put a calorie count on the front of a package. No one had ever done it.
Yeah.
And now you see companies doing it all the time now, especially in the ice cream aisle. How many grams of protein and how much. And so our big thing was we're focused on protein before, and that's the whole thing right now, is talking about how much protein people are getting. And I mean, we were doing it way back when. And but it was one of those things where we had to figure out how to scale it. We had no idea. We had never dealt in the CPG market before, consumer packaged good area. It was just, we had never done it before. And so we're kind of learning as we go along and failing, which is the best part.
And at first you just go to your local grocery store
and
say, hey, we got this ice cream.
So we knew enough that if it was a corporate store, we were going to have to go to headquarters somewhere, right? If it's Kroger, I'm going to Ohio type of thing, having a conversation. But some of the smaller chains or smaller groups, it was much easier to talk to their frozen buyer, basically. So we went in there and we'd dog and pony show it a little bit, and then we would give them free product to put on the shelf, and then we promised them we would come in and we'd do a demo, and we would get people buying it.
Oh, so you'd be the sample guy?
Yep. And I remember people would take a sample of it and spit it out in the trash can right in front of me. That's terrible. I'm like, oh, okay. And I get that all the time from certain people. And other people are like, I'm lactose intolerant. This is the best thing I've ever had.
Right.
Oh, I'm a diabetic. I can eat this, and there's no sugar, alcohol in it. It's going to give me, it's a laxative. This is great. You know, and bodybuilders, I can eat this whole thing. And just everybody under the sun. And people that love movies like me, and they go, well, I'll eat this at 10 o'clock at night watching the movie, and I'm going to have an 8-pack in the morning, you know? And so people are getting pumped.
Yeah.
And so before long, people wouldn't go in and buy just one. They'd buy 4, 5, 8.
Really?
They take everything off the shelf because they're going to eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner in some cases.
Because it's a pint. They really could just eat it at one serving pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing, and they get 20 grams. Yeah. And I remember getting a call once from the Mayo Clinic because Ali Beck Versace of Versace was addicted to our product.
Addicted.
And they said it was the best thing that she could be addicted to because she was getting protein and calories because iceberg lettuce wasn't cutting it anymore. And so got to a point where she'd call me. I still have her phone number on my phone right now. I could call it right now. You'd be like, whoa. And so got on a first name basis with her. We'd ship it around the world for her if she needed it. But it was just kind of fun. But yeah, we got it into stores nationwide and scaling it. You know, it got to a point where we couldn't do it ourselves. And so we went and we partnered with, when I say partnered, we had a co-packer that we used.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. How old are you when you first discovered this ice cream situation? How old are you?
I had the idea when I was 24.
24.
Yep.
And then how long did it take you to come up with your first formula that actually tasted good and it was legitimate, you know, was doable?
Yeah. So I had the idea when I was 24. Got the machine. We started messing around with it. We started with soft serve first. We had soft serve machine and started putting it into, it was a powder that we would take to frozen yogurt shops, and they would hydrate it with water, and they put it into their machines, just like you see at yogurt shops today.
Oh, and soft serve machine. Okay,
soft serve machines. But we figured out real quick that we hated getting nickeled and dimed by these yogurt shop owners. And we're like, it's the world's lowest calorie soft serve, but you are beating us up about it. You can't get a Ferrari at a Honda price. And we said, peace out, we're done. And so we decided we'd stick to retail instead. And so then we pivoted into a prepackaged pint.
Which is now how many years down the road from 24?
Yeah, it was just a couple of years.
Okay, so this happened pretty quick.
Yeah, and so we moved into that arena, and then that's when the fun started to happen, where we get one grocery store, and we're like, okay, we can do this, and we're making product, and we're moving stuff, and I'm
And
dropping
the
off
grocery
product.
store's happy. You're selling product.
Grocery store's happy.
But you're local. It's just small town.
We're distributing it.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where like, we can't do this distribution thing anymore. We need to hire some big guns that have the freezer trucks that can do this for us. And then we have to figure out that we've got to keystone the pricing on the product to based on the fact that distribution has a cut in there. Because a lot of people don't think about the fact that they're like, oh, it's so expensive on the shelf. Well, you've got the store that needs to make their profit on it.
Yeah.
Then you got the distributor that needs to make a good slice of it. And then, of course, then you've got the manufacturer. And there's so many steps in between. And so that price, you might sell it to them for $2. It ends up on the shelf at $5.50, $6. It's because of all the people in the middle.
And you're just learning this as you go.
Learning it as we go.
Right, because you were cleaning windows, and there's no distribution. There's no.
No.
Yeah, so
There's
you're
none
just
of that.
learning as you
Going
go.
from service to a product business.
And
right?
are this first grocery store you were in, were they helpful? Did they educate you a little bit?
They were super chill. They're easygoing. They had one location.
Chill. It's funny you use that word.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Frozen.
ice cream, chill.
And so it was good. We learned a lot there, and we had to change case packs and then different things, and trying to figure out how many pints to give away for free and how often to do a demo, all those types of things. And then before long, we needed to go rent a facility to fill up pints. So we'd be running back and forth.
Your little warehouse wasn't cutting it.
It was not cutting it. And so then we're making, 400 pints an hour, making sure that the weight on each one is perfect because we didn't have too much air in it or too little air in it. Mm-hmm. And shuttle them out into the freezer to make sure that they're getting frozen at 20 to 30 below zero.
Right.
And so we're starting to figure all this stuff out. And finally we go, we can't do this ourselves anymore. We need to hire a company to actually do this for us.
Because it's getting bigger.
Yeah, because it was just me and my business partner making the pints and selling it and marketing it and moving it and all the stuff that entails. And so then little by little, as we got into more and more stores and we locked down more and more distributors, they're putting in purchase orders for 4 pallets, 5 pallets, then it's 12 pallets. Then we get on Dr. Oz one time, and all of a sudden he says it's his favorite dessert of all time, and everything shoots through the roof.
Are you doing online or still just retail?
There's not much online back then.
Not then.
Facebook was still pretty brand new.
So when Dr. Oz says, I love this ice cream, someone has to go to a store and buy it.
Yeah, and so basically he said, he goes, this is my favorite dessert of all time. That's what he opened up with.
Wow.
And then he shows our product. And it was great to hear from him. But before that, there was someone before you would call them an influencer. She had an email blast of 1.3 million followers. And I became friends with her at different food shows. I would recognize her name. The first time I met her, I recognized her name. I had read an article about something she wrote, some food product, and I called her out. I said, "Hey, I know you. You're." She goes by the name Hungry Girl, and she's super famous in the food circles.
So she's an influencer before this even is a thing.
It's exactly
and it's
right.
all done through email.
Yep.
And people are subscribing to her little newsletter. She's sending out emails talking about food.
Yep. Yeah,
This is so early on in this process.
way early,
Yeah.
and she had a couple of New York Times bestsellers on Eat This, Not That type of stuff.
Oh, was she that person?
She wasn't that person,
Oh,
but
but
she had
she
one
did
very similar to
okay.
that. And she was responsible. Her husband and her were responsible for some of the best viewed shows on Nickelodeon back in the day. There was a show called like iCarly and a few other things, and she was responsible for that. So she was very good at branding and marketing. And one day I was talking to her, and she says, and she tells me, she's like, Garrett, she goes, just want to let you know, I'm going to be talking about Arctic Zero in a couple of weeks. Just wanted to give you a heads up. I'm like, that's awesome. That's great. She goes, no, you don't understand. When I talk about your product, be ready for it.
Really?
And I'm like, okay, great. She goes, I'm going to give
Like
you.
you're still not
and
comprehending.
Well, I'm just kind of like, okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah, cool,
she's
yeah.
like, no, it will sell better than anything you've ever experienced before. I'm like, okay. So we get everything lined up. We got the internet handled, high speed servers, everything
You
with
have a
GoDaddy, websites. Yeah, website's great. Everything's terrific. But I thought, just in case something goes wrong and stores are out of product, I want them to have some type of I want to have some fallback ability. So we created a form on the site that basically said, basically, does your store not carry Arctic Zero, or are they sold out? Print this out and hand it to the frozen buyer, and they can order it in for you, basically. Because I knew there was going to be stores that we weren't in, that an angry, pissed off customer is going to be a great customer for us, because they'll be the cheerleader to get.
Well, they're going to get you
those.
into a new store.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And so, sure enough, that
because
paid us
her
dividends.
newsletter's going all over the United States.
All over the United States.
And you're not, at this point, you're not in every state.
That's exactly right. We're spread out in different states, but not all of them.
Yeah.
And so I'll never forget. She gives me the heads up the day before. Hey, it's going to be the email's going out at 12:01. Just want to let you know. I'm like, okay, here we go. Here we
This
go.
is awesome.
Buckle up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's about 5 a.m, and I get a call. Do you know what it's like right now online? And we were on Amazon at the time.
Okay.
And so that's
Amazon's kind of just.
And Amazon's fairly new. We were one of their first products ever to be on Amazon that's frozen.
Oh, right, because that's a whole.
So they were experimenting with us, actually.
Okay, that's
so we were
different
doing
than
this at the same time. And part of the reason for Amazon was I wanted to be able to facilitate getting samples from San Diego, where I grew up. I was in Orange County and then I moved to San Diego. From San Diego to New York City. And
and Amazon had the best shipping. So and initially, I think you told me this the other day.
Yeah.
Initially, you were using Amazon just really to ship your samples.
Yep.
Okay.
And so basically, we'd sell it to ourselves, and we would put a different
The address
on it.
over there.
And so then
they do what they do.
Then our net cost to overnight a product was like $10.
Yeah, okay.
And it was better than because otherwise it was almost $100
to ship.
Yeah. Just overnight. And so
So
we
you're
did that.
buying it from yourself.
Buying it
so
from
you
ourselves.
want to get samples to New York. You go into Amazon and you buy it. But then now the shipping address is to the guy in New York.
That's exactly right. And that's
I'm
what
sure Amazon thought that was a great idea.
And that's what we did. And that's how we grew the company.
Yeah.
And our acquisition cost for a customer was like nothing at that point.
Right.
And so anyway, fortunately, we're on Amazon. That way we could take advantage of the fact that people that tried to go into the store couldn't get it in the store, so they would go online and order it from Amazon. It'd boost our numbers. It would move product. It would make them happy. How is that not a good plan,
Yeah.
right? It worked out great.
So 5 in the morning.
5 a.m, and all of a sudden...
So the email goes out 12:01, 5 in the morning, phone's ringing, and
it's... do you know how many orders we've sold online right now?
this is Amazon guy?
Yeah, this was my business partner. He goes, I don't know yet. He's like, you have to get in here. I go, okay. He goes, we got to make product like no other. And I think we had it was 5 a.m, and there was already 500 orders that needed to be shipped. And I'm like, this is crazy. And what's funny is every time I refresh the page to see the number, and it would change. It would change. It would change. And the whole time I kept thinking, we have to ship these orders out within 48 hours or we get blackballed, and it's
Yeah.
like they get pissed. And literally it was, okay, who can we hire to start doing this for us?
To come in here and fill pints of ice cream.
Because we're not going to be able to do it
ship them
fast
out
enough.
and
so then I've got my connections already with dry ice and packaging, and I'm making calls as I'm driving to the office. We need more of this. We need more of that. And we've got an inventory.
So you were prepared.
We
you
were
thought.
prepared.
You thought we can handle it.
We were prepared for the onslaught that the stores were going to get hit with, but we didn't know the online was going to be this crazy because it was expensive to buy on Amazon. It was at the time it was $46 for. Go ahead.
Well, $46.
Yeah, for 6 pints.
Online.
Online, yeah.
But then how much at the grocery store?
At the grocery store, it was anywhere from $3.99 to about $5.99,
Oh,
depending
so
on
you're
the store.
thinking not that many people are going to go on Amazon and buy it.
Yeah, it's exactly.
okay.
Where are they going to spend that kind of
Right,
money?
yeah.
They're going to spend, almost $8 a pint.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, never
They did it.
underestimate someone that loves ice cream that's not going to gain weight on it.
And they don't even have to leave their house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, so then little by little, we were buying 10,000 pounds worth of dry ice every week just to stay in stock, just for Amazon. And stores were sold out nationwide because people would go in and they would just hoard it like toilet
Really?
paper during COVID. They would just grab everything off the shelf.
Wow.
And fortunately, there was a ton of customers that printed out that
And now there's
form
new
and
stores
brought it in.
calling you.
And all of a sudden, we have got 1,000 new stores in just a week that came online, asking the distributor for product. And then all of a sudden, those 7 pallets or those 10 pallets of purchase orders that we would get every week is now 30 pallets every week.
Wow.
And that's just one distributor. And so it's going everywhere at this point. And so we're giddy. We're excited. We're like, this is terrific. But the problem is if anyone's ever done business with Amazon, Amazon's typically net 60. So we've got product going out every single day, hundreds of orders.
Money's going to Amazon.
Product, packaging, dry ice, everything involved there. The only thing we're not paying for is the shipping because Amazon handles that. And then we get, anyway, there's some fees in there and stuff like that. But the balance that they owe us gets egregious. It gets ridiculous. It's the GDP of a small country is what they owe us.
No kidding.
And they're on top of the world excited about us because we were ranked number 57 of 552,000 food items.
On Amazon.
On Amazon, number 57.
And this happens overnight.
This happens, overnight, and for like a week, a month afterward, we're still ranked crazy. And the time goes on that we've got this massive bill that just keeps growing.
Because they're collecting the money.
They're collecting the
they
money.
Don't have to give it to you. They're holding it for 60 days.
We're playing the bank here. Yeah,
Right.
it's
And
rough.
So that amount's just piling up. You're out of pocket. All the stuff to get that product out.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's
Cards are maxed. Lines of credits are maxed. I mean, it is like, do we pay the mortgage this month or we just keep,
buy more ice cream?
Yeah. And so that's where we were getting to. And it was getting crazier and crazier to the point where I called my point of contact up. And I think it was Teresa, was her name? Barbara or Teresa? Teresa. And I go, Teresa, I'm turning off the spigot. And she's like, what are you talking about? I go, you guys are going to single-handedly bankrupt us, and we're nationwide now at this point. I said, I've never seen anything like this. You guys owe us so much money. She goes, let me pull this up. Oh, wow.
No kidding.
We owe you a lot of money.
Yeah.
She goes, I can't authorize this. I have to talk to my boss. I go, okay, well, I'm going to turn it off. No. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Let it go. Give me.
Because the more it's on, the more money you're losing.
Oh, yeah.
You're going down.
Yes, and they're stoked
even though all this money's sitting in Amazon, that doesn't help you one bit right now.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
I'm like, where's the
I'm with
money,
you.
right? I have
So
zero
you're
in
like,
terms
turn
of
it
receivables.
off
Yeah.
until we get back on top of things.
Totally. And so what's funny is then she says, give me 30 minutes. So then she goes and talks to the senior vice president of grocery at Amazon. And he pulls it up. He's like, whoa, I can't authorize this amount either. It's just too big.
Yeah.
So who's he talk to? He talks to the big daddy upstairs, Jeff Bezos.
No kidding.
Talks to Jeff and says, Jeff, they're a top 100 product on Amazon. He goes, okay, how much do we owe them? Whoa. Okay.
And this is when? Give me a time frame. This is in 90.
This is 2009, roughly. 2000.
okay.
It's 2008, probably.
So
2008.
Amazon's happening. I mean, Amazon's
happening, but
this is like,
grocery's pretty new for them.
Yeah.
They've never done frozen before. They're still never made a profit yet, and so they're this growing behemoth.
Yeah.
And so this is a type of problem that someone else would take care of, but Jeff was taking care of it. And so he just says, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to overnight them a check for everything that we owe them as of today, everything. And you're going to move them to net 15 terms going forward. So to this day, I say that I've debt collected Jeff Bezos.
not a lot of guys can say that probably, huh?
And they took care of that, and then we were net 15, and we never had that issue again. And so now it was a matter of more distributors and getting into more and more stores. And so we were on everything from CNN to Fox to Glenn Beck talked about it to, just you name it. Pretty much Good Morning America, the Today Show. I mean, everybody was talking about it. And so we got it into a lot of fun stores, and I was an ice cream man, as my kids would always say. So, yeah.
Huh. Okay, so let's do a timeline. What year was it when you were like the 24-year-old that had this idea?
What year was it?
Yeah, what year was that?
It would have been 2015? I can't do math right now. That would be 2004, sorry.
Okay. So 2004, then you get up to like 2009, and Hungry Eating Girl, what was her?
Hungry Girl.
Hungry Girl.
Yeah.
This is like the beginning. Things just all of a sudden just hammer down.
Yeah.
And that was like around 2009.
Yeah. Yeah. So we basically, 2009 is when we started to really flow into stores. And so for the next couple of years, 2010, 2011, 2012, it just kept growing. And we're at food shows and people were taking notice. There's a lot of copycats. If anyone's ever heard of Halo Top, Halo Top called me up one day, wanted us to work together with them, to help them. They literally called me up, these two attorneys. They called me up. the owners.
Because they're already a brand?
They're very small. They were in
at this time.
They're in barely any stores in comparison to us. I said, hey, you guys are doing so great, and we look at you guys and we want to be like you guys, and they're just giving us all these pleasantries, right? Mm-hmm. Why don't we work together? Like, why don't we share ideas and distributors and just talk about how we can grow together in the market? And I'm like, you know what, guys, thanks so much for this call. Appreciate it. But I'm not going to build my competition. Best of luck, guys. Click. And then they went off. They raised a ton of money, lost their company, but then they ended up everywhere. And so the organizations own that one. But they took some of the same ideas. They put the calorie count on the front of the package. Mm-hmm. They didn't put whey protein in it because it was too expensive of an ingredient, so they cheapened it with milk protein concentrate and put a bunch of other stuff in there. And but anyway, it's just interesting, that marketplace. Now you go into an ice cream aisle now, there's so much there. There's so many products.
Yeah.
And so fortunately, when we were doing it, was pretty virgin snow of a space in the grocery store.
Okay, so tell me, what year was it that you sold your first case of ice cream?
First case of ice cream that we sold. Okay, so
maybe the first grocery store.
Yeah, that would have been around the beginning of 2008.
Okay.
Because before that, for years, we were in yogurt shops.
Oh, you're doing the yogurt shops.
Frozen yogurt shops.
Okay, then 2009, Hungry Girl does her thing.
Yep.
And at your peak, so in 2008, you're doing about a case.
Yeah.
You sell your case.
Yeah.
And then what was your peak? How many cases were going out the door?
Oh, man, we were selling millions. I mean, we're buying over 1 million pounds of whey protein concentrate a year. And so, you think about protein in grocery stores, 1 pound, imagine 1 million pounds. And then we started buying stuff by the metric ton, which started getting crazy.
Really?
And, but yeah, I mean, so 18,000 grocery stores, and the average grocery store was moving around 100 pints per month. We were about 2 to 3 times more than the average product in store in terms of turns on the grocery store shelves. And so that was great. And it caught the eye of Nestle. And Nestle started distributing us to Walmarts and Targets.
Oh, boy.
And typically on a Nestle truck, over 95% of their product is their own. And the 5% is what they're forced to carry by the retailers. So Walmart basically said, we want this product called Arctic Zero in, and you're our distributor, so you're going to do it. It's not like a matter of, can you do it for us? It's not, you're going to do it. Yeah. And so Nestle begrudgingly was like, all right, it's going to take up space on our truck. Perfect. But it's also a good way for them to see the legitimacy behind the numbers. Because they're like, how much is this product actually moving? Whoa, we stock their product way more than our product. And typically that 5% becomes an acquisition project for big companies like Nestle. They can see the numbers because they're doing it on a regular basis. And they go, well, we own already 95% of the stuff on the truck. We might as well own 96% of the truck at this point. And so they started having conversations, and then I exited in 2012.
2012?
2012.
So that was like a flash in the pan. That happened fast.
Yeah, it happened quick. It was fun.
And is it still?
So it got ruined, like anything that's acquired and purchased. They suck the life and the soul out of it, and it just dies. So they decided to go where the fad was going and switch from whey protein concentrate, which was still to this day one of the best ingredients, and it's an expensive ingredient. And they moved to vegan, and they made it a plant-based protein. Killed the taste, and killed the crowd that had been.
But
big
vegans don't
followers.
care about taste. That's why they're vegans. Should we edit that maybe?
No, leave it.
Let's leave it. Yeah.
Leave it. It's nasty. Yeah, vegan. So they made a vegan version of it. It was made with a faba bean. They destroyed it. Nobody likes it anymore. It's garbage. Yeah. And their sales just went like this.
Right. How long did it take for them to change it and mess it up?
It took probably about 2 years for them to ruin it. They progressively got worse in terms of ruining it. Let's take a nickel out here. We can save a penny here.
Well, yeah, because when they get big, they're looking at that bottom line.
Oh,
no one's there to protect
They took the quality. They took the quality right out of it. And I always say, when you buy quality, you only cry once.
Yeah.
And so they just ruined it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so then bootstrapping, you totally know what that means.
Oh yeah.
I mean, your credit cards are maxed out. I mean, you're in a little warehouse. All of a sudden, you get 250,000 cups showing up, and you're like, "What the hell are we gonna do with that?" I mean, so you understand what bootstrapping is.
Oh yeah.
You didn't have. I mean, at this time, your dad wasn't your golden goose. Who knows what he was doing, but you were on your own doing this.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, I mean, I remember writing my dad a check. He was strapped for cash the week before I was getting married, and I had to write him a check to help carry him with something. My mom, my stepdad's kind of the same situation.
Yeah.
And so it was there was never anything from familial help or anything like that my entire life, actually. And in terms of bootstrapping, it was one of those things. But, I didn't pay myself for several years when we were building it. And fortunately, I had some savings. I had taken a real estate class after I got home from my mission and bought up properties in the early 2000s and lucked out and sold everything in 2006. And when it was at the top of the market, and I just got lucky, sold it all, took those funds and poured that into this venture and this idea. And that's what basically allowed us to have enough runway to keep doing it and pushing it and pushing it. And but without it, it would have been even more difficult to bootstrap. But so it's the way. I'm a big believer in the bootstrap component because you have a different type of stress on your shoulders, and it's not someone barking at you about what you need to do that thinks that they know better than you.
Yeah.
And
Okay, so now during this whole, I mean, that's like a 4-year window. Is that right? Really?
Yeah.
2008 to 2012.
May 2012-ish. Yeah.
That's pretty quick. Battle scars. Okay, so when I talk about battle scars, I'm talking about, you had some, we've all had moments as entrepreneurs where we've been beat up a little bit. We've learned some hard lessons, and those are the battle scars. So share with me a battle scar or two that maybe you're most fond of, that you look at with most pride and go, yeah, that one hurt.
So
this is what?
Yeah, this is a fun one. So
besides debt collecting Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. Well, there's this. Well, what's interesting.
On the head of the short that gets out on social media, it's going to say, I debt collected Jeff Bezos.
Oh, it's perfect.
That's going to get some traction.
It does.
I'm going to have like 12 views after that.
I think that's what I'm trying to think who I think it was Clint on Silicon Slopes. I think that's what he led with.
He did.
On that too. It was funny. Or it was Garrett Clark. So Battle Scar, I'll never forget. So when we're making the packaging and we're designing it, we can't afford a graphic designer. I'm the graphic designer. I'm wearing that hat. I figure out how to do Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator, and I get damn good at it, right? Yeah. And so that works out terrific.
You build computers, man.
Yes,
this
right?
is easy.
I'm like, I got
little
this.
graphic design, no big deal.
We got this. Website, easy, right?
Easy.
No problem. And it worked decently enough. Yeah. And so I'm figuring out problem solving. Okay, we need to put a barcode here. What do we need to do? We buy a barcode from a company, and then we buy multiple barcodes for all the different packages that we've got of products and the SKUs.
Right, because it's not like today where you can just go online and buy a QR code.
Right.
Or you can get them for free.
Yeah.
Like barcodes, it's a different thing.
Yeah. So
and they had to have special printers to read them, right?
Yeah. Well,
special printers.
They have to be a certain dimension. They have to have so much space between the black and the white bars, and so that they can be scanned. And so there's this heavy duty company that it's like out of our league. We have no idea. And then there's another company that like resells barcodes. I'm like, oh, okay, great.
Save a few
We're gonna
bucks.
save a few bucks. This works great. When we buy it, put it on the packaging, scans perfect.
Print it.
No problem.
It's printed. It's on the package.
It works. It looks legit. It's terrific. And we get in all these stores nationwide. It's fantastic. Scans, no problem. Okay, great. Well, when it gets time to get into Kroger stores, those barcodes don't scan in the Kroger system.
No kidding.
They don't scan in the Walmart system. They don't scan because they're not the legit version of the UPC codes.
And those big boys are like...
And you got to pay money for those. And we didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
So then we had to pull 500,000 pints out of grocery stores and relabel them with UPC codes that do work.
that were already shipped out.
Yes.
So you had to go into the Walmart.
We had to pull the stuff out and get the UPCs direct, good to go again. And then in addition,
Did you change out the whole label or just have a sticker?
we had a sticker for that, but the new versions of those cups, you better believe, had the UPCs that worked on it. And so having to get the stores to be cool with that. Fortunately, we had built up really good rapport with the fact that we had a really great moving product, so that wasn't a big issue. But then another time is when the FDA came after us.
Oh, yeah.
And that was bad too.
Okay.
Oh, if you ever hear about a recall, most companies don't survive a recall.
Yeah.
And it's like, was there salmonella in it? Was it this? Was it that? You know, because whey protein concentrate is a derivative of dairy, but it's 99% lactose free. That's why lactose intolerant people can typically consume it. We didn't have that allergen of milk listed. We had everything else, but it wasn't listed. The attorneys missed that. Fortunately, I've got errors and omissions insurance because we had to pull everything off the shelf again.
How far down the road was it?
But that was like 3 years later.
So there's even more on the shelves.
There was more on the shelves, and so it was painful. And we had someone in the freezers at all the different warehouses, literally in a coat, and a coat, and a coat, and a coat, with a special type of adhesive and labeling every pint that came back with the allergens symbol.
Just putting a new.
Yeah. Okay. Contains milk. Contains milk.
Oh,
contains
my
milk.
goodness, really?
And then got it back on the shelves, and we're good to go again. And so those were two incredible battle scars that were heavy.
Yeah.
And the FDA won't give you a clearance until everything's 100% good to go. So we are just dying.
And how did they? Was there a whistleblower? Did somebody eat a scoop of ice cream and be like, "Oh, it has dairy in it"? Like, how did the FDA get involved?
They got some notice from a consumer that took it to the store, and the store took it and made a big hoopla about it. And honestly, what I think it was a competitor in the space that was fighting for the shelf space.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, we never paid to be on the shelf. We were one of the few products that never had to pay to play, basically, because we were so unique. There was no product like it.
People are walking with their piece of paper saying, "We want this ice cream."
Yeah, we want this, but not only do I want this, but I can eat the whole pint guilt-free. And so my moniker that I came up with that I always liked is, what you eat in private shows in public. And so people would be like, okay, all right, I'll eat 4 of these, and I want to look good, you know?
We'll be fine, yeah.
And I said, never underestimate the woman that loves ice cream but knows that they have to stay away from it because of what it's going to do to them.
Right.
Men, we just eat everything. We don't care. We'll just look fat tomorrow. We'll be fine, right? Yeah. But women are like, wait. I can lose weight, look better, and I can eat ice cream by the pint? Done. Sign me up. I want to fill up my cart full of this stuff. Oh, and the protein.
They're getting all the things.
It was great. So I'd actually go down to Weight Watchers clinics and talk to all the people there. And they would just be enthralled and excited.
Yeah.
I never underestimate, the power of ice cream with someone losing weight.
That's pretty cool.
So it was great. It's what got us into stores, and it was fun, and you're the ice cream guys, So
Okay, that's cool. And the challenging part is you hired attorneys who made a mistake. That's frustrating.
Yeah.
You bought the UPC symbols that you thought were cool.
Yeah.
And then they weren't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard, huh? I don't know what kind of lesson you would teach somebody. I mean, you could tell somebody, hire attorneys, do this, do that, but even they make mistakes sometimes.
Yeah. And
that's brutal.
And honestly, sometimes they're still new, right? Some of these organizations like, oh yeah, we can do food law. Can you though?
Can you?
And at the same time, it's still the wild, wild west in terms of online sales for products, especially food.
Yeah.
It was kind of a new thing, especially frozen. So how is this insulated container going to work? How do we have to package this? How much foam do we need to use on it? Can we test this out? Okay, if we ship this to Amarillo, Texas, do we have enough dry ice in this so that when it arrives, it's still frozen?
Still ice cream.
Or is it gone, right? Or if it sat out on a trailer for too long, did it melt and it's garbage? Because then it's like, okay, now we got to send out more product and it's more expensive. So do we put an extra pound of dry ice in it in order to preserve it? or do we lose a little bit more money because we're putting an extra
And
pound
you're
in it?
relying on all these people along the way.
Yep. And
Yeah.
so we figured out that we could put temperature gauges that were GPS to track shipments around the country, and it would actually let us know if a package had been sitting out on a dock for more than like 20 minutes.
Oh,
Because the temperature would rise,
yeah.
and that means the product is now going to start to thaw, and
Yeah.
we would get an alarm, and we'd be able to call someone real
Say,
quick
"Get
and
that."
get on that. Because the difference between frozen and refrigerated food is dramatically different. Like people talk about, oh yeah, it's a food product. I go, is it frozen? Because if it's frozen and it's not kept below temp, it's trash if it gets above it. Nothing worse than ice cream that's been melted and refrozen.
Right. Whereas refrigerated, there's a little bit of flexibility
You got
there.
flexibility.
Plus, it doesn't have to be as cold,
No,
which is
you're fine. But ice cream is one of those unique novelties where the moment it melts and it reconstitutes as frozen, garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, you can taste it,
If you have I don't know if you ever try BYU Creamery ice cream from Harmon's. They can't get it right. They have not figured it out. I've bought like eight different containers from multiple Harmons.
Yeah.
It all tastes like foam. And
Because
it's
coming out of BYU Creamery, it's great.
Oh, phenomenal. My
But
favorite
there's
ice cream on the planet
and Harmon's
is
isn't-
Creamery and Ninth.
They're not shipping across the United States.
No.
They're going down the road.
Whoever's
And they can't
making
get
it,
it
they
right.
need to fire that person. It is just horrible. Like I have to throw it away, and it's gotten so bad that I go up to Harmon's. I go, when are they going to get this right? This is garbage. This is
And
terrible.
the clerk's like, what?
It's so gritty and foamy,
Yeah.
and it's bad. So basically, what they're doing, they're filling it up, and they're not getting into a freezer fast enough, and so it sits off to the side. What it is just coming down to workforce. They probably have one person doing the job, and they need four.
Is this at the BYU level or at the Harmon's level?
This
Like,
is
where are we having
this
trouble?
is probably at the BYU level because Harmon's does a great job with all the rest of their ice cream.
You know, we're right now, we're like blocks from BYU, so there's probably people on their way to talk to you about this.
That'd be great. I'd love
the
to talk to them
BYU
about
police.
it. I've even talked to them once.
We heard you were talking smack about our ice cream.
Dude, absolutely. It's the best way to
think
throttle.
you know?
It's the best
You
way to
think you
throttle
know?
some
You can
change.
do it better?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can. Well, maybe I'll call some people up at the church office building that owns BYU, and they'll call you on a mission to become the creamery ice cream guy. And then you'll not get paid anything.
Oh, can you imagine?
It'll just be a service project.
I'll pay to be there.
Right. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Okay, so then you have your exit in 2012. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
Back in the day.
So what was next? What did you do next?
So after that, hung out in California for a little bit.
Was it a good exit? Was it like life-changing exit, retire exit, or was it like this is cool, I'm going to do something else?
It wasn't FU money, but it was good.
FU money.
Yeah, you've heard that before, right?
I've heard that before,
Yeah.
but maybe one of our 9 listeners hasn't heard that.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's FU money?
Oh, it's just like so much money that you just say, the hell with everybody.
I can do whatever I
I
want.
can do whatever I want. I want
Jeff Bezos
I
money.
want a pink flamingo in my front yard in a pool. I
Yeah.
can do it.
I have
whatever,
a pink flamingo in front of my
You know what I
trailer
mean.
at the trailer park.
Yeah, it's
And I have the little Budweiser lights hanging in my.
I should say swans in a pool, probably, is
yeah.
right?
So-
Have someone
so
come in and put new
You
swans
didn't get
in
the
there.
Jeff Bezos money.
Yes. So, yeah. No, yeah. But, had that exit, got tired of California, traffic, taxes, politics. I said, I'm done with the
California,
state. State was amazing for 30 years that
Yeah.
I lived in
It's
it.
still a beautiful place, but man,
Visit and vacation.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
I always say if you're going to judge a state, judge it by its gas stations. The most ghetto stations ever in California.
I know, it's
And you come
terrible.
out here and you're like, that Maverick is nice.
that Maverick is
I can
nice.
eat off that floor right there.
In fact, when we travel and you drive out of Maverick range, you're like, oh, where are we going to go
right?
now?
I don't
What are
even
we
want
gonna
my
do?
bottom of my shoe to touch the AM PM gas station.
No kidding.
So, and got out of Dodge. Never thought we'd find ourselves in Utah. We're like, what, Utah? No. And moved up here, have family up here and friends up here, and we thought, I like it.
Yeah.
And we really liked it. And we moved out of California before it was trendy to move out of California.
There you go. Beat the rush.
I want to say we didn't start the trend because I don't want to be associated with that, but man,
Right.
we got out of there quick. And I came up here, and my brother-in-law owns a crane company, one of the largest in the world now, and largest in the state for sure. And I think it's top 80 in the world. And
This is
he's
your brother.
my brother-in-law,
Okay.
yeah. And he married my sister, and he's brilliant. He's just a smart dude. And he had built this crane company and started building it and growing it and scaling it. And he invited me to be part of it. So he brought me in, and I was handling.
Because ice cream guy can do cranes.
Cranes, totally different,
I mean,
right?
why not?
Yeah,
I can do ice cream. I can do cranes.
do this,
Yeah.
computers,
Piece of cake.
window cleaning.
Yeah.
Well, hey, let's do it.
Ice cream cranes.
Yeah, let's do it. Very easy transition.
Yeah.
And so I basically handled a lot of the purchasing, and then moved into operations and a few other things. And we scaled it from about 29 million a year to about 60 million in 2 years.
Wow,
And without really adding any employees. So we basically doubled revenue per employee at that point. And bought more and more cranes and grew accordingly. And then, and so then it came a point when I was there about 2.5 years, I'm just like, I'm not passionate about cranes. I've just got to level with you.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't my thing. And so at around the same time, I had a buddy that was an aviation guy. And he'd been trying to get me to be part of an aviation company with him because he was a pilot and all these things like that. So that was super, super fun to entertain. But then at the same time, I had another colleague that I got introduced to that was a franchise guy. And he had franchised a lot of companies. Everything from Massage Envy, Fantastic Sam's, the Joint Chiropractic. I mean, tons of different things.
Yeah.
And I was kind of enthralled with all these passionate entrepreneurs that had ideas and they needed to figure out how to make them into reality.
Yeah.
And so got very familiar with franchising. And so, and then started franchising a lot of different companies. So here in Utah, maybe if anyone's familiar with Yonuts or Melty or Prime IV, a lot of different companies that we've scaled here in Utah to start, and got into that for several years.
So when you say you got into it, you were helping these owners put their company together in a manner that they could sell to other people. So you facilitated that whole process.
Facilitated that, and then also helped them expand it based on master franchising and single unit franchising. So those are two different formulas to help a company grow. And so I own franchises around the country as well. And so, everything from I own the entire state of Idaho and Vegas for one franchise to other single unit franchises around the country. But doing that with some amazing entrepreneurs that had an idea and just didn't know how to expand it.
Right.
So got very familiar with that. And so everything from health franchises to food franchises to everything, and medical and all those fun things.
But that's not what you're doing now.
No, it's completely different. So I'm a little scatterbrained, I guess you could say, with different things. I'm enjoying that, but the concepts are all the same in terms of startup and bootstrapping and just trying to solve the big problems. And my company right now is completely different.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so here's a couple questions for you, because this has been fun, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pretend like you're sitting across the table from the young Garrett Blood, Mr. GB Enterprises, a super original business name. What advice do you give him, knowing what you know today?
Knowing what I know today, put money in Google. And
Well,
I would have basically given all the stocks to buy, for sure. Now, honestly, we know where the money would have been. Buy up as many 3, 4, and 5-letter domains as you possibly can on the internet. That's where the real money was at, right? Yeah. But just telling, and I said this the other day, that I think one of the number one things that is overlooked is the fact that everything takes time. Everyone thinks they're going to shortcut it and they're going to get from point A to point B at record speed because you're smarter or you're more cunning or you're going to work harder. But at the end of the day, everyone has to put in their dues. And I feel like the one way in which some people can shortcut it is they have the FU money, they have the dad's money, that kind of thing, right? Where it's just like, okay, well, here you go.
And do whatever.
And they just do whatever. Then that, I think, saves them some time, but they're still going to have to fail along the way. And failure is the best teacher. And I'm a big believer, though, that it's one of those things where you're going to put in the time, you're going to put in the energy, and you're going to see the end product. And so for me, it's I had a lot of those issues, a lot of those failures, and I said, okay, how do we do this better? This is painful right here.
And an overnight success isn't going to be overnight. It's
No.
going to be years
Oh,
of,
yeah.
of work, and then all of a sudden it looks like an overnight
Oh,
success.
totally. People see you pull up in a car and you're like, whoa, someone's lucky. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I didn't pay myself for 4 years
Right.
to make this thing happen, type of thing. And now it's like, oh, okay, great. Now I've got a car with air conditioning in it.
Yeah.
You're
living large.
Living large. And, but I always tell people, though, be patient because, God's not finished with you yet. And I mean, that's one of the big things is realize that your time will come and there's a reason for you having to put in some of the grunt work early on. Certain lessons that are to be learned that are typically learned through sweat and tears, basically.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, what I do now is I love more than anything I've ever done in the past.
Yeah, that's cool. So you're going to tell your young Garrett Blood, just be patient.
Be patient.
Just keep working, keep getting after it, and it'll work out.
Yep.
Okay, what do you tell the young entrepreneur that isn't the young Garrett Blood? What advice do you give him when he's getting ready to launch his entrepreneurial journey?
Partner with someone that has like familial circumstances. Don't be married and try to partner up with the single guy that's living up the single life. You are going to have this happen all the time because he doesn't understand what you understand. And his perspective is completely different. If he's in California or he's in New York or something like that, he's a single guy. He's just trying to get laid every weekend. Whereas you're going home and
Are we allowed to say that?
I just said it.
What if we have 12 people listening? Okay.
But you know what I'm saying?
No, that's awesome. I've never heard that before.
I had a CEO, and he was always about, he was always talking about how it was in New York and drugs and strippers and all these different things. That was important to him. That was important to him.
Yeah.
And we had another partner that kind of talked about that stuff too, but he was more of a joker. But I'm a guy that's married and has kids.
Yeah.
And the guy that's living the single life doesn't understand an awards assembly to watch my kid get most improved or whatever it might be, best in science or whatever it might be. And they don't understand that. Oh, I've got to go to a doctor's appointment for something. And that becomes a very difficult situation with someone that doesn't understand it. So I always say, like familial circumstances. You've got kids, I've got kids. Okay, great. This is going to mesh well.
That's funny because I've talked to a lot of people. I've been around for a long time, and there's a lot of discussion about partnerships because they can be great and they can be challenging. They can be everything in between. But I've never heard that advice.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard that. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting way of looking at it.
It's
because it does make a difference. There's stresses there
Yeah.
that may not happen if you're both, trying to raise your kids, build your family. It's just a different mindset.
Yeah, it's the stage of life, right? I think someone that's looking down, like you could partner with somebody that's much older, that's had kids, has grandkids, completely understands every component of where you're at, as opposed to someone that, like I said before, is single, has no idea what it's like to be married, let alone have children and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's the number one piece of advice I'd give to an entrepreneur that's budding and getting ready to take off.
That's a good one. I like that. That's really good. Good job. Okay, last question.
Yeah.
Would you do it over again?
Which one?
Everything, just your whole entrepreneurial journey. If you could go back, if you look back at all the lessons you learned, the failures you've had, the successes you've had, would you do it over again? Now I'm going to give you there's a caveat to this question.
Okay.
There's really one right answer, and if you don't give me that answer, we're going to talk about it. Because the 13 people that are watching this podcast
we're up from 9. We're up to 13
we're
now.
Gaining,
this is good.
It's getting better. You
said
you used
I said something
word.
great, I guess. Yeah, we've grown.
You said laid, and I'm sure that's good. And I'm going to put Jeff.
We opened up all sorts of spots around the country.
So we're up to 13 now, and some of them might be young entrepreneurs, maybe in the middle of that shit, because we all have been there, right?
Yep.
And they're going to hear this, and so the answer to your question needs to be something really encouraging.
Yeah. Would I do it again? I'd have to say yes, because all the pitfalls, the travails, the difficulties, everything's much more sweet when you look back and you've seen all those difficult times and then where it got you. And without all those difficult pitfalls and issues, you it's just, for me, it's just that learning lesson that you go through, and you don't know the sweet from the bitter, basically. And yeah, as heavy the exhale to say, yes, but it's one of those things,
Yeah, and that was the right answer, by the way. So we don't have to edit, we don't have to arm wrestle or anything. But
perfect.
And for example, we were just talking about it before we started. I grew up in Montana, and I told you that story about the day when we ran outside the school and it was 70 below outside.
Yeah,
right. I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
But I'll tell you what. We love those 70 below days. We love the 40 below days. We love the 30 below days because you know what? The 70-degree Montana summers are unbelievable.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that 70 below zero, we're not enjoying the 70-degree blue sky, beautiful Montana.
Totally.
And so, I read a book. I've read a couple books, believe it or not.
Yes. This one right here, I think, is my favorite.
This
one,
is one
right?
of my short
stories for
one of my
class
favorite.
reading.
We're going to do a whole show on me reading
I think you should do that
stories,
one. The blue one's the best.
Oh, the blue one's the best. I mean, yeah. So, but I did read a book, I think it was Wayne Dyer, that talked about how you really need to appreciate and embrace the bad because it makes the good better. And you just said that, right?
Yeah.
You have to go through the failures. You have to have these down moments. You have to be wallowing in, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to make payroll? Because that helps you appreciate the good days that much more.
Oh, all day long. It's just, it's almost, I feel like, if someone doesn't bootstrap, they've done themselves a disservice, because it was the easy money that just flowed in for them to make all these expensive mistakes. But if it's their own money and they know how much sacrifice it took to spend that money, it's 10 times sweeter.
And you burn the ships.
You burn the ships.
You're going ashore, and it's everything you got.
You burn them, man.
Yeah, and that's what the bootstrapping and battle scars are all about.
Yeah.
Right? You have the bootstraps, the battle scars to show for it, and it's that journey.
Well, I mean,
ups and downs.
Like my company right now, I don't know, we talked about KJ.
Mm-hmm.
It's same thing. It was one of those things. I'm like, I'm going to bootstrap this because I don't want anyone on over my shoulder telling me how I'm supposed to run a company that's focused on mission, vision, and values.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of companies right now that do something similar to us here in Utah, but they're all backed by rich dads and rich uncles and private equity and VC and debt financing from banks, and their goal is exit. And for me, I just love what I do so much. I don't want to exit. And so
it's like your goal of making your ice cream.
Yeah.
Your goal was to make good ice cream that tasted good, that was healthy for you, that gave you the protein you needed, because that's what you were doing and that's what you wanted to build. Well, and then you sell it to a bigger company, and now they're looking at, we could save a nickel.
Yeah.
By changing this. It won't taste as good, but it's okay.
Totally cheapen it. But part of it, though, too, is I think so many people are focused on the exit and not the journey piece of it. And for me, I'm like, I love this. And if I were to sell it tomorrow, the problem is now I have to find something to replace the thing that I love to do. And it's the most fun that I've had in my entire career and journey at this point. Why do I want to then? I don't know. Sometimes I find that entrepreneurs that I've talked to that have exited from their company that they spent a decade building, they all are super excited when they sell and they see that big amount of money in their bank account, and they're super pumped for about a month.
And then they're like,
and then
now what?
The depression kicks in.
And their wife is like, who are you?
Who are you? Get out of here. Yeah. They
in a nice way.
Yeah.
Nice
she's got plenty of money. She's
not
like,
go
well, I'm
away.
going to go over here and you go over there.
Go to work.
Yeah, go to work. Do something. Figure something out. But what's so interesting is they wish they had never sold it because their purpose is gone, their drive is gone.
Their identity, huh?
Their identity was tied up in that. Success is as in the case of a man doing it, that was his focus.
Up in the morning. It gets him into the office.
Yeah. And so they kind of lose themselves. And I mean, I've talked to too many guys that tell me, don't sell your business. Don't sell your business. I'm like, I know. I've been there.
Yeah.
And I love what I do. And it sparks joy every single day when I do it.
Plus, your business is really based on people.
Yeah.
And I know you guys value your people.
Oh,
you treat your
big
people
time.
like they're your number one asset, which they are.
They are.
And, you can't imagine selling that to somebody else that maybe has a different idea of what that's like. And then all of a sudden now you're affecting the lives of you have hundreds of employees.
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds of families that I have to think about every payroll.
Yeah.
And in 29 different countries, the best and brightest in 29 countries. We interview 200 to 300 people, and we hire the best 3 in the world. and we present them to a client. Client wants a mechanical engineer, we've got them. A civil, electrical, we even have nuclear engineers that are all remote. We have architects, we have accountants, we have video editors. Angel Studios has some of our animators, for example.
Wow.
Kiln has some of our accountants. Usana has our supply chain analysts. Beehive Mills has our accountants. Has our graphic designers. Ballerina Farms has some of our accountants. Lots of different companies here in Utah, because we save them hundreds of thousands of dollars because they hire our people. And our people work 40 hours a week. And they have advanced degrees, usually masters, MBAs, PhDs. They have Fortune 500 experience working for top U.S. firms.
Yeah.
And they have English like you and me.
Oh, yeah. It's
And
amazing.
the key difference is people on our team, they're loyal and grateful rock stars. They're not looking outside for another opportunity that's going to pay them $5,000 more a year and give them free massages on Fridays. They're just excited to have.
Because it's a culture that you've created.
Yeah.
It's how you treat them.
Yep.
I'm assuming you treat your employees the way you want them to treat your customers.
My number one priority is my team member,
Yeah.
then the client, then KJ. Because I know if they love what they do, they feel protected, secure, and taken care of, that they'll pull out the stops for their client.
Yeah.
And their client's then happy with us, and it's a virtuous cycle at that point. And, but yeah, I've fired clients because they mistreated members of our team. I always tell the client, I go, you don't understand. This person from our team that works for you is too good to be at an a-hole with you. I was like, you don't deserve them. There's 3 other companies that would kill to have this person on their team. They are a unicorn here in space. They're hyper impossible. And so there's clients like that all the time. Anytime a client comes to me and they want to talk price, I would say, we're not the fit for you. Because they want that Ferrari at a Honda price. And I said, sorry, that's not going to, we don't do that. Yeah. And so I have very interesting conversations sometimes. I go, you've got abundance and you've got scarcity. Yeah. I run off the abundance mentality. And so my goal from the very beginning was, how do I take the most brilliant, most amazing people and take them from here and take them to here? And so we pay our people 5 to 10 times more than a living wage. So they go from poverty to middle class in 60 days or less. And we've done that 100% since we started. And doing it within 60 days and 100% for every single member of our team. And they get full medical, full dental, paid time off, paid maternity, paid paternity. We have a clinical psychologist on staff with a PhD for mental health, because they're all remote. And in addition to that, we have a professional English expert linguist that teaches them if they want to remove their accent that they have when they speak English. And so their English is already C2 level, like us, but sometimes they have an accent. So we get that removed. They choose to have that removed if they'd like to.
Right.
We don't force that on anybody. And then we take them to a summit every year. So we took the Latin American team 4 months ago to Cancun. Year before that, Punta Cana, Dominican Republic.
Nice.
Machu Picchu in Cusco the year before that. The teams in Asia, we took them to an island in the Philippines to swim with whale sharks, underwater caving, a lot of fun things.
Yeah.
And that's something that we do for every member of the team. And we do team building and training. We have speakers from around the world that actually volunteer to speak to our team. The CEO of Lovesac, he volunteered to speak to the team.
Lovesac still around?
Yeah, they're great. Publicly traded company. They're terrific.
No kidding.
You also have the CEO of Live Golf, for example. He spoke to the team, Scott. And then, a lot of different CEOs. Disruptive Advertising, their CEO came out. Brian Blair came out. A lot of different ballers in their industries came out and basically taught our team different cool life skills and whatnot. So we do a lot of these experiential type things with our team because we're building something to last, not building something to sell.
Right.
And
so once again, selling that, no one's going to treat them the way you treat them.
That's exactly right.
You built this thing based on all these awesome people, and they just love the culture. They're all in, and a lot of people don't get that.
Well, I know every one of the members of our team by name. I do welcome calls with every new member of our team, and I do leadership check-ins every single throughout the year. So
Yeah.
I just actually had 3 this morning, and just checking up on them, seeing how they're doing,
That's cool.
seeing how their kids are doing, everything like that. So that when I see them in person, I can put my arms around and give them a hug. I ask them how their spouse doing, how their daughter's doing, how whatnot. And
Yeah.
it's those types of things that I think make a huge difference, and why we are so different than some of the companies that have, I hate to say it, but they're basically virtual sweatshops. And we do not operate that way at all. And again, it's out of the abundance mentality versus scarcity. And but one of our big, I'd say our secret weapon compared to anyone else is speed to quality. So someone will come to us on a Monday, give us their dream hire, a position that they could eventually fill. It might take 4 months to fill it.
A client.
A client would come to us and they'd say, "Hey, I'm looking for this position." And we'd say, what do you think you'd spend for that? Oh, about $250,000 a year. Okay, great. Well, and maybe we're having this conversation on a Monday.
Yeah.
And so we're famous for, and we have the trademark, Zoom on Monday, talent by Friday. Friday of this week, we're going to introduce you to 3 of the best people in the world that you didn't know existed. You're going to meet them. You're going to ask them questions. You're going to give us a thumbs up on who you love. And on Tuesday of the next week, they'll be in the trenches working with your team 40 hours a week, dedicated to just you.
Nice.
And that's what we do. That's our shtick. And at the same time, we're saving the average company $60,000 to $100,000 a year per position from KJ. And that's what we do. So
Well, that's
it's
cool.
Super
And
fun.
it sounds like, I mean, it's hard to tell, but it sounds like you kind of like what you're doing now.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Until you get called to BYU to fix that creamery problem.
Oh, I won't enjoy that.
No, you're going to be.
Because they'll be like, "What do you mean we got to spend money?"
Exactly. Well, listen, Garrett, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, you are an entrepreneur.
Thanks, man.
Like your story, you've done it. You've cleaned the windows. You've done the things. You did ice cream. I mean, that's crazy. You collected Jeff Bezos. You've done some things. And you've had some great experience. So I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
It's been fun doing it.
It's fun, man.
And then we'll put on the reading glasses and read a book. Read
Let's
a couple
do
short
it.
Stories.
I think we should do it. Some short stories would be
I
great.
think so.
Some Charles
Like Mr.
Dickens
Rogers.
or something in there.
Like
Yes,
I
Mr.
should have
Rogers.
Mr. Rogers. He's not alive, is
That'd be
he?
good. Well, we can take off our
Fred?
shoes just like him.
And we could do some AI and have him right there. Okay.
Tupac
Thanks, Garrett.
Shakur right there.
Tupac and Mr. Rogers. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.